Hello, everyone. Welcome to Next Gen Talks by Intuit, the show that takes you behind the scenes of how awesome products are built, discusses career growth, shares fun anecdotes, and a whole lot more. We'll be sharing some real life stories, as well as uncovering secrets behind successful people, products, and processes. So, whether you're a designer, a product manager, an engineer, a design researcher, or anyone who's just interested to listen into some fun conversations, this is the right podcast for you. So, let's get right into today's episode, the art and science of design research. So I'm Ashwit, a product manager at Intuit.
I'm Partha. I'm working as a product manager at Intuit for QuickBooks Desktop.
So Anshul, before you introduce yourself,
Yes.
we always do this on our podcast. We do like this informal introduction of sorts to slightly embarrass our guests, make them feel awkward as well. So we'll do one for you. It's mostly like a poetic alliteration that focuses on the first letter of your name, A. So it's like this informal introduction we'll do. And you let us know how it is, and then you can formally introduce yourself.
Totally.
So allow me to introduce the amazing Anshul, the astute and analytical design researcher with an affinity for all things aesthetic. Her ability to articulate complex ideas and her attention to detail are absolutely astounding. With her adventurous spirit and appetite for innovation, she is here to share her awe-inspiring stories with us.
Wow,
Nice.
that's wonderful. Yeah, all the amazing words, articulate, analytical, adventurous.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm completely adventurous, but yeah, beautiful.
Perks of artificial intelligence these days.
Was ChatGPT involved?
I mean, there are a lot of sources involved, but the creative juices have been largely flowing from AI in all of these
You
introductions.
don't do it like this. You always say I took like 7 days to.
Yeah.
But we are an AI-backed
Okay, absolutely.
company,
Yes.
so
So
yeah, I'd
absolutely,
like to
yeah.
say that. Right, so hi everyone, I'm Anshul. I'm a principal design researcher here at Intuit.
Awesome. So Anshul, you're now a principal design researcher, but I'm very curious as to what your aspirations were when you're much younger. Like, what did you actually want to be when you were growing up? Like, you're much younger, like when you're young, when you're a kid, and all of that.
Right, it's a funny story, but in Indian context, your fate is sealed as soon as you are
Yeah.
born. So for me, I was supposed to be a doctor, and my brothers were supposed to
Wow.
be engineers.
Okay.
And so I tried for medical entrance examinations with my 12th and a lot of years afterwards. And unfortunately, I couldn't clear it. In hindsight, I would say I was fortunate. I think I live a more fulfilling life
Yeah,
nice.
today versus what I could have been. I was supposed to be a doctor, and so I tried for medical entrance examinations for 5 consecutive years.
Yeah.
I appeared for 35 plus medical entrance exams, but couldn't clear
Whoa.
them.
Whoa.
And
Okay.
that was a colossal failure very early in my career. It was not even a career, I hadn't even started. And that told me the importance of having plan B.
Yeah.
We'll touch more on that,
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I wanted to be when I grew, growing up.
Nice.
Nice. That's interesting. So you did a lot of effort to get to our podcast today. Is what we can say.
Yes, it was all
Yeah,
leading here.
destined to be on our episode.
Cool. What attracted you to this role, Anshul?
Right. Yeah, I guess first of all, the job role and responsibility very much aligned with what I was looking in my career next. For that next phase, for that next leap. So it offered me all of that. The work was very similar to what I had done, as well as offered me more challenge and the chance to lead research for a bigger charter, which is QuickBooks here in India. And the second was, of course, the culture of the company. I had heard great things about Intuit and its culture. In fact, I have never come across a single person who has talked about negative things about here. And that was an extremely plus point for
Yeah.
me because as you grow up in career, you develop your own brand values as well, which you want your company to offer
Yeah,
and match as well.
absolutely. Yeah.
So I guess that played very nicely for me at Intuit.
Okay, got it. Cool. Another question which I always had, I'm pretty sure Ashwit also has, because
I would have
we
it
were
after
discussing
she
about
said
that.
Just kidding.
Yeah, there are like 2 roles which we have at Intuit, right? One is the product designer role, and the other one is the design research role, right? So could you tell us what commonalities and what differences are there between these 2 roles so that we learn, and as well as the audience watching us also gets that clarity, because there's a lot of confusion on that.
Right. So I guess, as you rightly said, they both overlap and complement each other. So whereas a product designer develops end-to-end experience for the user, a design researcher systematically studies that end-to-end experience and what is working in that and what is not, and then they take these learnings back to designers and try to focus on what is not working so we can improve the experience even more.
Okay.
So I guess that's where they both are differentiated as well as working in favor of in service of the product.
Yeah, I think also as a design researcher, you would go really deep into the problem statement, right? And to actually figure out a lot of these usage patterns, behavior, and all of that, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Totally right. So a lot of it is about understanding user behaviors,
Yeah.
motivations. What is it that they are trying to solve through using our product, and what can make them move to competitors,
Yeah.
and how can we make them stay is of course our bigger goal. But at the same time, we are very concerned about building that trust in users and giving them the best experience at the lowest possible cost and interaction and such similar costs. So
Interesting. Yeah, because I had a follow up to that. So how, like in your role, right? Because you're interacting with a lot of people, especially those who are customers of products that we use or could be potential customers. How deeply do you have to understand generally human psychology itself? Because you have to go through their thought patterns. Like sometimes they say stuff and sometimes they don't say it, but you have to infer from a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I wanted to understand, like, how does that play into what you're doing?
yeah, that's a wonderful question and something I get asked a lot as well. The term I like to use is listening to what's said versus what's being unsaid. So
Yeah.
there are two types of behaviors we are trying to understand. One is verbal that they say, and second is more tacit in nature, which are not
Yeah.
said. So the various methodologies we employ help us in understanding what is not said. There's something which we do here at Intuit. This is called Follow Me Homes, in which we basically observe our customers in their natural
Yeah.
context. So we work with a lot of small business owners, and we do actually visit their studios, their places of work, and we observe them doing their routine tasks and accounting tasks
Nice.
per se in their natural
Yeah.
environment, and that helps us understand a lot of those things which are never said or are part of discussion. So we see the workarounds they are using to manage their money, how they work with customers, vendors, and all of those learnings we take to implement in our product. So
Got it, yeah.
that is definitely one of the ways.
Absolutely.
And then we also have other tips and tricks like the art of asking right questions
Yeah. And not compounding
and not
questions.
compounding.
So no worries, but a very quick one. So this segment is called This or That. And thank you Slack for making this easier for us. So I'll take the first question, Sashmi.
Yes.
You can take
Yeah.
the other one.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. So you'll have to be very quick with the answers. We'll give you two options. Which one you like, you just name that. Your first question is a very fundamental one. Coffee or tea?
Chai.
Chai? Yes. That is very specific. Dogs or cats?
None.
Oh wow, okay. We should have kept that as an option. Cool. Are you a beach person or a mountain person?
I'm a homebody.
Wow, this is thinking outside the box.
So would you like your house to be on like the shore of the beach or like on the tip of a mountain?
I love the Bangalore weather and I like my house to be here so I can enjoy my everyday.
Okay. Okay. Still doesn't want to answer it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Fiction and non-fiction.
Fiction.
Fiction.
I love stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorites?
Sydney Sheldon used to be all-time favorite, and I would say he still is,
Awesome.
is the one.
Great. And are you an early bird or a night owl?
Super early bird, like 4 a.m.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Nice.
This is like one of those motivation videos where the super successful people come and say, what's
4
the
a.m. club."
mantra, right? 4 a.m. Get up, work out, hustle. Sounds like one of
There you
them.
nailed it, and so did I.
Yeah. So I'll ask a few of these questions that I'll just continue what Partha was doing, right? So, books or movies?
Both.
Like one, what's like if you had to
One.
pick one?
Books.
Books.
Definitely. Yeah.
The city or countryside?
Countryside.
Nice.
Nature person.
Awesome.
So you like wine or beer?
Wine.
Wine?
Yeah.
Red or white?
Oh, this was not
Or
in the list.
pink.
Or pink?
Okay.
Pink.
Right, cool. So a morning workout or working out in the evening?
Evening.
What do you get up at 4 a.m. and do?
I check my emails early in the
Busy
morning, get
person.
back to important tasks, and come back to work out in the evening.
Okay, fair enough. Texting or calling?
Texting.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah. We like to see ourselves in the service of the product, and a product manager is someone who's owning the product. They have a big vision for it. So they are our primary stakeholders, and so is design. Like I said, we are part of the design team under a bigger umbrella.
Yeah.
So we work in very close collaboration with designers. This is what day-to-day looks like, but then every alternate day, we also connect with other cross functions like data analytics, marketing is also a primary
Sure.
stakeholder, and then product development.
So yeah, in general, right? What qualifications do folks need to have in order to apply and become a successful design researcher per se? Like, how do you get to this role?
Yeah, I guess the outlook looks pretty bright these days because when we talk about design in general, and I fall under that bigger umbrella, I think there is no one degree that leads you here, but there are multiple. So, when you compare it to like hardcore STEM
Yes.
fields, you definitely do need a science-based degree to go into, like medical or engineering. But you can be a designer by studying a lot of fields. So, as you had pointed out earlier, psychology is one. Other humanities-based fields like anthropology is another. And then there are design degrees, of course, offered by various colleges and institutes. I guess.
Yeah, and just like a follow-up, right? You spoke about how can we get to this role. Like once you're in this role, what are those 2 or 3 skills, both technical as well as soft skills, that will actually make you succeed and become an awesome design researcher?
Yes.
Right. So, as we discussed earlier, that there's a lot of overlap with design. So, I think when we talk about technical, it would be aligned with the designer skill set. So, Figma or Sketch, your tool of choice, is the technical tool that you need a good handle on. Besides that, you need to be, pretty good at your presentation and storytelling skills because when we talk about research, it's a lot about taking what your users say back to the team and trying to influence them and build that consensus. So it's a lot about how you can empathize with the user and bring it back to the team. So storytelling, narration, presentation definitely come into picture. And then, empathy building is something I said. You need to empathize with your stakeholders as well as feel the pain of the user as well.
I think like for example, let's say we're driving a feature or something, we're building something new. We're always focused on the problem, right? And here at Intuit, we're encouraged to write the problem statement from the perspective of a customer. So you always start with, I am a customer who does something.
Yes.
So I think that's where it really starts from.
Yeah.
Like when you get into these functions at Intuit, you understand it really deep-rooted from just starting off your PRDs or documents with that statement, and then you can just flow through your entire story. It becomes easier that way.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I guess.
We move, this will be the kind of final question which I have. We know that design research, or at least from the kind of circles we come in, has become a very big fad. And it's become a buzzword where every other friend of mine is like, okay, I want to get into design research. So do you have any kind of things which you want to share from your own experience and you talking to many other young people who want to get into this role versus making a transition, or what other kind of avenues should they look for?
Right. I guess, I think passion plays an important role in finding your career path and sticking to it for the long term. So if someone feels strongly about, some of the things we touched upon, if they feel they are good at some of the technical skills that this role demands, or if they have a strong handle on storytelling and narration skills, then totally go for it. However, one important thing to remember is that while we are talking and everything feels so smooth, and this has been a career journey which looks nice at the face of it, that doesn't mean that any field is easy, right? So
Yeah, that's right.
there are no a lot of people out there could be looking for shortcuts to success, but the important thing to remember is that there are no shortcuts to success. Like
Yeah.
probably what they are looking for does not exist if they are looking for such a thing. So if whatever field you are in, if you want to make a transition to design research, more than welcome. Just keep brushing these skills, get an external academic degree if you would like, and stick to it for a while to become successful. That is the case with any field. But having said that, there are a lot of fields out there today which are good as well. I mean, this is not the only field. There are people who are building careers in engineering, as product management, and data analytics and whatnot. And a lot of them are equally successful, or maybe more. So I would encourage people to look internally a little and find what is it that drives them and where do their key strengths lie, versus picking a role model who is successful in a particular domain and just copying them.
Yep, that's insightful.
Don't we have a fun segment right now?
She's a viewer. She watches our podcasts.
Awesome. Cool. I think the fun segment itself was the episode because we had so much of fun.
Yeah, maybe the
throughout.
BTS is the
yeah.
fun segment.
I think we really loved and learned a lot from this episode, and hopefully if you at your home watching this episode learned something and you have certain questions for us or maybe Anshul, you can definitely write those in the comments. And do let us know what else do you want us to focus on. What other areas do you want to learn on? Product design, software engineering, data analytics. We are all here for you. So Next Gen Talks is something which you should continue to look out for, because this is where you'll get all the information which you do not know right now. But cool. I think do like, share, subscribe. That's something which will keep us motivated and also giving you great content up in the coming weeks and even months.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching this.
Thank you.
See you.